Alec Gillies, yeah. Live reporter at PokerPro. No.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to the second session of the PartyPoker Tour Conference. I am joined here today by CEO of PokerPro, Jason Glatzer, and Eric Gillis, as well as a live reporter for PokerPro. Guys, I'm giving you the show and the floor, so good luck.
Thank you, Natalie. And let's have some fun today, everybody. Today is about learning some mixed games. It's going to be an interactive workshop, but to start things off, let's define what mixed games are because everybody has a separate definition. To me, it's any game that isn't purely Hold'em or purely like an Omaha variant. But to others, they may include Omaha into a mixed game and they may go anything that isn't purely Texas Hold'em, such as the Tennessee Hold'em that was played yesterday. To me, that's not a mixed game, it's just a variant of Hold'em. In general, though, there's three different kinds of poker. They can all be combined into different games. There's the standard flop game, which all of you are likely familiar with if you're here today. You're playing Hold'em. Most of the tournaments are in Hold'em. Pot limit Omaha, high-low, limit Omaha. Those are all examples of other flop games. But then in the mixed game environment, yes, you have some that delve into the flop world, especially when you're combining games. But then you have also your draw games, which are rather interesting. It's basically how I grew up playing poker. So a little history about me. I've been playing poker for more than 40 years. Yes, I'm older than I look, but it's really been that long. And it was probably about 15 years in before I even knew what Hold'em is. So growing up in the States, playing poker on kitchen tables as a rite of passage, we were playing whatever the guy picking up the deck, the gal, whoever's dealing, they choose the game. And if we don't know the rules, it's explained. And we move on from there. So we have all the draw games, and then we have also stud variants, whether it's 7-card stud, 5-card stud. They all have their different rules. But we can start with something simple before we get into questions. And there's a game called Horse, which has the basic of mixed games, even though the first two games in there aren't really mixed games in my head. But you have limit Hold'em, limit Omaha high-low, stud, Raz, and stud high-low. So basically, I think most of you know what stud is, but we'll get into it a little bit. Basically, forget everything you know about Hold'em and picture things a little bit differently. You're going to be dealt 3 cards, 2 face down, 1 face up in standard stud. There'll be a round of betting, and then there'll be another card face up, another card face up, another card face up, another card face up, and then the 7th card is face down with a betting round after each hand. And then basically the hand that has the best 5-card hand among the 7 cards would win the pot, assuming people are in. And to complicate things a little bit more, if you're moving into Raz, it's the exact opposite. It's going to be the worst hand, taking out straights and flushes. An ace, 2, 3, 4, 5 would be the nuts in a game like Raz, which is a stud variant. And then combining the two, we have stud high-low, which is also part of Horse, where you're basically taking half the pot for the best high hand and half the pot for the best low hand, provided that the low hand is 8 low or better. So if you have ace, 3, 5, 7, 9, and you're expecting half the pot, well, you're out of luck. You're not going to get half the pot because you needed something with an 8 or lower as your highest card. But we're going to demonstrate a few games today. We're going to have a little bit of fun. Basically, another difference before we get into that is in a place like the United States, most of the mixed games are actually in limit format, whether they're tournaments, cash games, and whatnot. That's fine, that's fun, I enjoy that a lot, but I prefer more the European style that we see in places like Estonia, Malta. There's a lot of warriors trying to spread mixed games. It's not just myself. We have people like Teresa Nuzian, Antoine over in Malta doing the same thing. And basically, for the most part, these are pot limit games. So it's the same rules, but in a pot limit format, which provides a little more action, a little bit more bluffing capabilities, and makes the game a lot more fun. But I think I'm going to bring the floor over to you guys to see if there's any games today that you want to learn. We'll bring you right up to the table. We have Alec here. He's a former professional dealer. He's also a mixed game guru himself. And let's have some fun, guys. So is there anybody in the crowd that wants a game explained or just has a question in general about mixed games?
Well, I'm going to ask a question in that case. Now, I understand Texas Hold'em, okay? When it comes to mixed games, I get very confused. I grew up playing five card studs, so I'm familiar with five card studs, but Raz, I'm just like Razzmatazz, you know, it's a fun name. So, help.
So why don't you have a seat here? We have Alec ready to deal. And we can pretend there's a third player in too if you want, or you can be a player, Alec, I suppose. Or maybe I will play on the side as well. Not bad, guys, but don't share what I have. So in this case, what happens is it's going to be the high card. I have a 10 of diamonds. This is the high card. Aces are low in Raz. The 3 is obviously a low card. So I'm going to need to put in a min bet of an ante or so. I don't know what you call that bet, Alec, but
Yeah.
the small bet to start things off. And then it's going to be on Natalie to decide whether she wants to call or complete is what we call it. And typically, if you have a good hand, you're going to be completing. And if you have a better hand than the person completing, you're going to be raising. But let's take a quick peek at what you have, Natalie. Yes, that is certainly raisable. Yes, you have 3 cards under a 10 and 3-handed play. You just need to be, you don't need to be careful of me because I have a 10 on the table, but you're going to need to be a little careful about Alec. So you would place out a bet. And now Alec has a decision to make because he has a number card, but he also has a picture card. Alec, are you going to call or are you going to fold?
I'm going to call.
Okay, so Alec calls and I'm going to fold because my other, well, I'm going to call too, actually. My other 2 cards are not bad. We're going to stay in the hand. So Alec has a 6 of diamonds. He has ace-6 showing. I have 10-8 showing. And Natalie with 3-7. And it's going to be starting once we go beyond the initial round. It's actually the lowest hand that leads off the betting. And we have a check from Alec, a check from me. And I think you want to continue and put pressure on people, but you're going to check. Okay, so we're all staying in the hand. Okay, that's a good card for everybody else at the table. I paired up my 8, and now Natalie has a jack. So it's going to be the 10 that leads out with the betting.
I will bet.
You will bet. I have to fold, but I have 2 good cards, but at the same time, I have a lot to be nervous about, especially if it was a pot limit format. It would be an easy fold there. In a limit format, you can keep going to see one more card, and you definitely need to call there as well. That's a good card for Natalie, but also then the 3 pairs. So it's going to be the king that leads off here, Alec. So we have king 10, 6 ace showing for Alec. He's going to be checking. Natalie checking back with her 3-3-7 jack. And let's see what we have here. I'm going to take a peek. And Alec once again leads off if he wants to bet here. Alec is going to check. And Natalie, the only way you can win this hand is actually by bluffing because you wound up, unfortunately, with 2 pair, which isn't going to get the job done. You have a jack high. You could be looking at this card and think maybe, I can check back and win it, but you could also bet, if it was pot limit, you could probably bet him off the pot here as well, being it was checked over to you. But let's say, for example, it went check, check, and let's table the cards over here with Alec. What do we have? We're going to place our 5 lowest cards for Raz. So we have ace, 4, 6, 9, 10. The pair of kings does not matter. And for Natalie, what do we have here? We have a jack low for Natalie, so Alec would win the pot there. And he's excited. No money, but we won the pot. So do you feel you understand Raz, or should we go through another hand?
I'm not 100% sure what happened there.
It's the lowest. Okay, so to explain that a little better, it's the opposite of stud. So it's going to be the lowest hand that wins. So you take your 5 lowest cards, and that is what wins.
See, okay, that makes sense.
And there's a lot of low ball games or split games in mixed games. So this is just one example, like a Badugi game, which is the basis of some other games, is another game, but that's more of a draw game, and this is a stud game. But Alec, maybe we try some stud high-low so that we can get through some of the horse games as well. Stud high-low, once again, is a combination of sort of Raz, not really, and regular stud. But maybe we get somebody else in the crowd up here. Any volunteers? Okay, here we go. We got Rob coming up. Thank you, Rob. Rob, have you played stud high-low before?
No.
Have you played stud before?
Yes.
Okay, so you're halfway there. The rules, once again, it's a split pot game, so half the pot's going to go to the high hand. And in theory, half the pot goes to the low hand, but the low hand has a qualifier of 8 or lower. So if you have ace 3, 7, 8, 9, that's no good. There would be then just all the pot to the high if that was the best low. But it's very tricky in terms of starting hands. I typically like some low cards that are connected, but obviously if you have a rolled up pair, you're playing for the high end for the low in the very beginning. And then it depends on how aggressive your table is, and you can set your ranges on the fly. But here we have the 3 starting. It's once again the low card, because we're playing stud and stud high-low have the same rule with that. So you would have to bet in, let's say it was a 1-2 game, you would be putting in 75 cents. And Alec would be completing to 2 if he has anything to complete with. If not, we can do a reshuffle if you think this isn't a good example hand.
I'll complete.
Okay, so we have a completion, and we can deal 4th street. Each, basically from after the initial deal, you don't describe flop, turn, river. It's 4th street, 5th street, 6th street, 7th street. So we have a suited queen 7 here. I tried to take a sneak peek at what Alec had, but let's see. Okay, and let's see what Rob has. Okay, so typically now it's going to always be the high hand. What are you going to do here, Alec? Are you going to check? Are you going to bet?
I will bet.
You will bet. Okay, let's see what you have again, whether you'd be calling. We're going to call anyway, but you would be likely folding in this spot, but we're going to call just for the fun of it. And we have a king of hearts. Oh, I forgot whether I'm calling, actually. Let's see what I have. Yeah, I'm calling. And now it's king, queen that leads out. So Alec, what are you going to do here?
I'll bet again.
Okay, so we have another bet. I will call. And another heart isn't terrible. The 8 isn't terrible. You're definitely calling now. Now you have a pretty solid holding. I don't know where you started, but we have the 8 of spades. That's a 3rd spade for Alec. You have to be careful of the flushes. I have a nice low draw going with the 3, 4, 5 showing. The king is irrelevant. And we have now another heart here. So we have major flush and straight possibilities, a little bit even on the low if he has 2 low cards as well. And a smart check by Alec, recognizing the strength of other people's holdings, that he's only playing for really half the pot at this stage unless he has 2 low cards.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So, looking at the other cards, how do you work out when's a good time to bluff, or is it more of you're looking for the value and then you go in there like that?
That's a very good question. It really depends on whether we're playing pot limit or limit. So in a limit game, you typically are looking for value in most of your bets. Yeah, you can get away with a bluff here and there, but keep in mind when you're firing out a big bet on 7th Street, it's limit. It may be that they're getting such ridiculous implied odds to call that if it's a cash game, they should be calling all the time, unless you have absolutely 0 bluffs ever. And in a tournament, you can actually get away with this single bet. I did it on my route to winning the horse tournament in Vilnius. There was a big bluff. I showed it. There was a massive pot, and worked out well. So Alec, you checked.
I check.
I'm going to likely check, but I need to look at my cards again. I need to check, and you can decide to. What do you have again? You could go either way with this, actually. So we're going to check once again. This should be down, but we could deal it up. Okay, so did Alec get there with anything? He's going to check. I'm going to check as well because I didn't hit my low, and I only have a pair of 3s. I have 3, 7, 10. I'm not sure if you could see the table, but I have 3, 4, 5 king up top, so it's only a pair of 3s with no low possibility, and there's no low possibility for Alec either. But let's see what Rob has. Rob has an ace. He has 2 pair, but also no low. So this is an example where it played out exactly like stud when it's time to pay out. But let's say this card was an ace instead of a 3. It would be split between Rob and myself because I would have the best low, Rob would have the best tie, but there's no qualifying low. So in stud high-low, the entire pot goes over to you. Similar to Omaha high-low, if you played that as well. You have an 8 or better qualifier.
Can I ask one more question? So the low, does that go from the, like, is it from start from the ace and then work up, or does it start from, like, if somebody has an 8, somebody else has a 7, does the person with the 8 lose?
That's a very good question, and it starts with the ace. So an ace, deuce, 3, 4, 5 not only gives you a straight for the high, but it gives you a 5 low for the low. It doesn't play like some other games where a straight would cancel that out. Now, if we're going to complicate stud a little bit further, there's other variants that may be a little bit too advanced for the group here, but when I'm playing stud, I prefer to play something called super stud, and you're dealt 5 cards right away, and you roll your own and discard 2. So you could decide what you want to show up top, what you want to keep hidden away. You could be sneaky, you could be up front, you know, however you want to do it. So I think we've covered a lot of the stud games. I want to move a little bit into the draw games, and a very good draw game to learn is either deuce 7 triple draw, 5-card draw, or Badoogie. So I'm not sure if the crowd here knows 5-card draw, so let's start with something simple, but maybe we get another volunteer up here. This one's going to be fast if somebody wants to join us for 5-card draw. Thank you, Rob. Okay, Raj, let's go, let's go. Have you played 5-card draw before?
No, I haven't, no.
Do you know the rules of 5-card draw?
I'm gonna be able to draw, discard cards and then draw cards per betting round.
Correct, and there's only 2 betting rounds. It's probably the simplest draw game that you can have. And we're getting 5 cards each, and the object of the game is just to get the best hand. So for this instance,
High only.
this is high only. It probably wouldn't work in a high-low format, but you can lowball this as well. But typically that would be ace-5 or something like that. I think I will discard 3, Alec.
Okay.
I will keep my pair. It gets tricky when you have straight and flush draws what to do, but let's see what Raj has here.
I'm gonna discard this.
You could do that. You would probably be folding, to be fair. You have deuce 10, 8, 6, 7, a beautiful deuce 7 triple draw hand if we were playing that, or especially if it was deuce 7 no limit single draw. I'll get into that shortly. This would be an amazing hand for that. But unfortunately, let's just assume that you're going to keep the 6, 7, 8.
Okay.
You can also draw, in theory, just the 9, but that's a bit of a long shot. I kept the wrong 2. Okay. So 3 cards for me. Nothing doing here.
2.
And typically, this is a game that's better played in no-limit format, actually. One of the few mixed games that's better in no-limit format, but you can play it in limit format on your kitchen tables. Unfortunately, a 4-card straight is worth nothing in this game. There's other games where maybe that would be something. And what does Alec have?
I have a question. Is it only one draw? You only get to draw once?
In this game, you can only draw once, but if you're playing with friends, you know, as I said, you know, the beauty of poker is you can be playing something called dealer's choice or super dealer's choice. And you can say right away to the table, I want to play 5-card draw, but I want to do 2 draws.
Okay.
You know, you can invent your own little variants on the fly once you understand the games.
Okay.
So it looks like a pair of 9s is going to win. I only have these 8s, so Alec wins another hand. On fire.
I'm rigging the deck, obviously.
Now, let's say we were playing instead, it would be the same kind of, leave the cards out for a second, Alec. Let's take a look at the cards for a second. And let's say instead of playing this, we were playing something called deuce 7 no limit single draw. Triple draw is the more popular variant, but for tournaments, the no limit variant is the biggest mind screw that you're ever going to play outside of a game like Bad Maha, because there's so much bluffing you can do. But then it's going to be the lowest hand altogether. So an ace is high, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wouldn't be low because it would be considered a straight in this game. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 is actually the best hand, hence the deuce to 7 triple draw. In this case, deuce to 7 single draw. And you had a low to a 10. You would be betting that right away. And then being that you were in position, it's a button that moves around, you would wait to see if your opponent drew or not. And if he stood pat, then he or she stood pat. You would think about what to do, but a 10 low is pretty good in single draw. And triple draw, not as much because you have more opportunities to hit some cards.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raj. Round of applause. So who wants to learn Badugi? Maybe nobody wants to learn Badugi. We have somebody here that wants to learn Badugi. Come on up. And please introduce yourself. Thomas, and where are you from?
Hungary.
Hungary. Okay, let's see. And have you played Badugi before?
Yes, but I'm more familiar with triple draw.
Okay.
So I know the rules, but that's basically it.
Okay, good. So we have an experienced draw player, if not an experienced Badugi player, but close enough. Now, as Alec is dealing the cards, the object of Badugi is a little bit different than the other games. You still want low cards. Low cards are fun. But a Badugi is 4 cards in different suits. So ace, deuce, 3, 4 in different suits is a perfect Badugi, the best hand you can have in this game. But even if you have ace, 3, jack, king in different suits, that's still a Badugi. Very often will win. And then the next ranking hands is going to be the best 3-card suited hands. So if you have 2 spades and a heart and a diamond, you're going to take your lowest spade, combine it with your heart and diamond, and you're competing against other people that haven't made Badugis. So I'm going to display my hand. And even though I have 3 different suits, it's a triple draw game, so that king of clubs is going to go, because chances are I'll get another club. And I'm going to get rid of that 7 of spades as well because I have a 4 of spades. Let's see what you have, Alec. Maybe we could do the same thing here. So you have a decision to make on that jack of spades. The ace of hearts will stay. The 6 of hearts needs to go. So you're going to draw 2. And Thomas, what you got going? Oh, you got a bunch of crap here. Ace, jack, jack, 10. Yeah, I mean, you would be folding here, but let's just discard. You could keep the 10 if you want, but I would discard 4 and try again. Yeah, you could keep the ace. I'm sorry. Okay, so here we go. This is draw number 1. I have a 10 of hearts, king of spades to go along with this. Maybe I just keep the 10 of hearts, even though it's not that great. But we are playing short-handed. And over with Alec, we have 3 hearts and a club. So he would be folding most likely if anybody bet. Yeah, keep that. You have the ace of spades, 4 diamonds. We have 2 more draws to go. This hand probably would check around unless somebody was trying to notice everybody's weakness and take it down. If it was limit, it may not be easy to do, though. King of hearts. Goodbye. And let's see, Alec, what do you have? Now, this is a little better, I think. Oh, no, it's 2 pair. And clubs and hearts. This would be an amazing hand in some other game. Ace, ace, 7, 7, double suited. Maybe in Omaha. And we have a bunch of spades here. So we have a very bad example hand here, but we're going to all be discarding again into the final draw. I get 1 again.
1.
I'm going for the Badugi. I need a club. I shouldn't have gotten rid of that club early. It is not a club, but maybe my 3 hand is okay. Probably not, because it's ace, 4, 10, and the other one is a diamond, so it does not count. But any Badugi would win.
If you want a club, I can give you 2 or 3.
Alec has nothing. He doesn't even have a 3 card. And your 3 card is better than my 3 card, so you would win the pot with the ace, 4, 8. But if that 9 of diamonds was a 9 of clubs, you would have a 9 low Badugi, or 9 high Badugi. So that was probably a little bit too fast for everybody. I don't know if everybody picked up on what we were talking about there. You got it? Okay, good, good. Should we complicate it even further by combining Badugi with other games, or is that asking too much? Because There's split pot games involving Badugi, which are quite fun. There's Badesi and Badusi. One of them involves combining Badugi and 2-7 triple draw in the same game, with half the pot going to the best Badugi and half the pot going to the best 2-7 triple draw hand. And the other one is similar, except instead of deuce 7 triple draw, it's the best low hand altogether, where ace deuce 3, 4, 5 would qualify as the best low hand. But Alec, which one do you want to deal? We'll deal one of them.
We'll do Badusi.
Okay, we're going to do Badusi. And Badusi, I believe, combines the 2-7 triple draw, because I mix them up sometimes as well, being that they sound similar, and they are very similar games. You do need to approach them slightly different, but the great thing about mixed games is, unlike Hold'em and Omaha, where you have all these solvers everywhere, people get better with experience, and if you're good at thinking on the fly, you can actually develop a strategy that might be better than somebody else's that's been playing for years. Wow, look at this. I have a very nice Badugi setup here. No, I have a very nice deuce 7 triple draw setup. I have 2, 4, 5, 6, and they're in 3 different suits, so I can be going for the Badugi and the deuce 7 perfect. It's not going to be perfect, but 7 low. So I'm going to discard 1. You're discarding the king jack and keeping the 2, 4, 8. Are they different suits? No. And you're discarding 2. You also have a pretty 3-card Badugi going and a 9 low. Okay, 1 for me. Did I get there?
Oh.
No, that's the...
You're last.
No, that was the burn card I was trying to take. Maybe I only get 1. Well, I have a decision to make, folks, because I did get the 7. That pretty much locks in the deuce 7. I mean, somebody could be better. I have a 7, 6, 5, 4, 2. There's a couple of hands that might be better than that. I do have a 3-card Badugi to the 5, so if nobody gets to the Badugi, I may even scoop the pot. But I think I'm done with my hand at the moment. And let's see what you have, Thomas.
I have a Badugi, but it's pretty bad. Deuce to 7 hand.
And you have a couple of draws left as well. That's up to you. It's but you have the Badugi. But Badugis are going to be more common in this game because we have 5 cards versus 4 cards. That's the main difference. Okay, I'm going to stand pat. I'm not going for the Badugi anymore. Half the pot is better than none of the pot. I could be giving up my hand altogether if I start drawing away. And you have the queen of clubs. That's an easy discard for you. It does you no good. But look at this. What do you have here now? Deuce, 4, 5, 6. You still need that club. But you could be going for 2 things at once. I think the king of spades is what you're getting rid of. Okay, let's see if you got there, Thomas. No, it's the king of clubs. Negarai, no good. And no Badugi. You have the Badugi, though, so that's good. But let's see if there's a better Badugi here. Oh, we got another Badugi. So I would win half with the deuce 4, 5, 6, 7 as the best deuce 7 triple draw hand. We have a Badugi here of 4, 8, 9, 10, all different suits. The king of clubs is not relevant. And over here, we have, oh, you're pipped. Deuce 4, 6, jack Badugi. So the 10 Badugi wins. So we would split the pot. Congratulations on winning half of nothing. So does anybody have any questions about any games they want to see? I've gone through a bunch of games. Thank you very much, Thomas. Let's see if you have to have a game that you want to learn. Okay, we're gonna go with one final game if nobody has questions, but I need a volunteer, and that volunteer should maybe be 2 volunteers. So let's get Asif, let's get Jordan, let's get Chris up here. One of you may need to bring a chair with you for this to work. We're gonna play a game called Speethen Special. You may have heard about it, like you may have heard of a game called Dromaha, which is very similar. So this game is combining the forces of Omaha, 5-card Omaha, along with 5-card draw in the same game. Now, I'm not even sure Alec knows how to do this game, so we're going to have to go a little bit slow. I may be the only one in the room that has played it before. And it looks like we lost Chris. Okay. It would have been nice to have some Swedish presence. This game was invented actually in a club called Sviten Club in Sweden. Yes, let's get some Sweden up on the stage. Christopher Carlin, everybody. So how we start off is it's similar to Omaha. There's a button. It's typically played in pot limit format. And if you're familiar with a game called Omaha, it's quite similar. Everybody gets dealt 5 cards. There's going to be a round of betting that happens. Let's say everybody just limps for the sake of teaching the game. So after that, there's going to be no burn card. There's no burn cards in this game. And you deal a flop. Okay, so now there's going to be another round of betting. Let's say it goes check, 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 even if somebody has something. We just want to keep everybody in the hand right now. And after the flop, guess what happens? You can decide whether you want to change cards or not. Now keep in mind, half the pot is going to the best 5-card Omaha hand on the board. There'll still be a turn and river coming. And half will go to the best 5 cards you have in your hand, similar to playing 5-card draw. So Chris, we're gonna go play Chris's hand with us because it's a rather interesting one. He has 7, 7, 8, 8, dealt 2 pair. He doesn't want to break that up and can even, right now he has a set. That may not be good on the Omaha, but he has a pretty good draw hand. And we want to see what happens when people draw 1 anyway. So you could stay pat, you could draw 1, you could draw 5. You can't draw 6 just because you don't have 6 cards, but otherwise you can draw what you want. And yeah, you got a interesting one. Yours is easy. You keep the 9s. Don't worry about the 7. It's not going to really usually come into play. Get rid of the 7-4 deuce. And Alec, what do you have? You have a potential something. I don't know what I would do in your spot because I still wouldn't be in the hand. But it looks like you're going with more of an Omaha strategy, keeping 2 connected but unsuited cards. Maybe draw 5 there, Alex. So once again, now there's not going to be a burn, but we're going to draw. And if you draw 1 card, something that's going to be special. It's face up. Show everybody. The whole table got to see the 6 of clubs, not just you guys for the demonstration. No, hold on a second. Hold on. Everybody has to declare first. But Chris now has an option whether he wants to keep that card or not. Chris does not like that card. He gets another one face down. Now, this only happens if you're drawing 1 card. And if you learned the game called Dromaha, this is the main difference between Sviten and Dromaha. Oh, you're going all balls here. We got 5 coming out.
From a do 7 strategy.
Okay, we got 5 new ones, fresh ones. And you want to at least keep those 9s, Asif. I don't think the 7 you want to keep, but that's up to you. And we have 3 coming to Asif. What happened to your other card? You were given, oh, there it is. Okay, so we have 5 cards. We would have had to disqualify you from the presentation if you only had 4. So it's good you had that hidden card. Now, once again, there's no burn cards. The reason for there are no burn cards is every card in the deck can be important. So picture this with 7 people and you're playing in a game of, let's say, people that are less than sober. You're going to have a bunch of people drawing 3 and 4 cards, and you need every card in the deck, because what happens is if you run out of cards during the draw phase, you take all the discarded and burned cards and you shuffle them and you keep going. It's very rare, but it happens, and it's better to just conserve the cards. So now we're going to have a turn. It's still called a turn in this case. It's the 5 of clubs. So we have 10, jack, 7, 5 with 2 clubs on the board. Let's say for argument's sake, just so we can see everybody's showdown hand, it goes check around. But at this stage, there would be 2 or 3 people left in the hand because it's pot limit, played in Europe. And we have the queen of clubs finishing things out. So we have now a potential flush completed for the Omaha. But let's see, we'll start with you, Chris. What do you have? He has a set of 7s for the board for Omaha and 8s over 7s for the 5-card hand. Jordan, what you got? Well, this is interesting. You have 3 pairs and nothing in the hand. So you lose all your money. So sorry. And Asif, what do you have? Ooh, better 2 pair, kings and 9s. So right now the set of 7s is ahead on the board. No. Oh, we have a flush. Good eye there, Alex. So Asif looking maybe to scoop this bad boy. And all Alec has is a pair of 3s. He does have a straight on the board, but that's not good enough. And Unfortunately, Chris, your set there is in third place on the board, not even in second place, and you got pipped here by Asif. Asif, the big Sweetland Special winner. What a natural! So in general, the idea here is poker is meant to be fun, right? It's a mind sport, of course. No different than chess in the terms of mind sportness, and you have even poker games in that realm, like open-faced Chinese, which are all strategic. But when you're playing mixed games, you are having fun. So picture that you're sitting at a table with 7 people, and every time there's a new round, somebody can make a new game, or how we play typically is the player and the button can decide what game they want to play. It's about having fun. Of course, you want to make money, and this is another reason to play mixed games because there's very few games that are solved, and we're living in a world of solvers and things that are already figured out. Yes, we have very good mixed game players in the world. Benny Glatzer comes to mind. Tobias Leknes is another one who specialize in this but can play Hold'em well in their own right. But that doesn't mean they have all the mathematics done for every single game, especially with new games coming out all the time, such as this Tennessee Hold'em that we had yesterday. But I think that wraps it up, guys, unless somebody else has a question. Oh, we have one more question here. What's going on? Oh, that's a good question. Is this that is a very good question. So which is my favorite mixed game and why? Ooh, I do like making up new games on the fly myself, I have to say. So we've invented a few different variants of the game that you just saw that make it even more complex, such as do 7 Badugi. Speethin with Badugi in it, or something similar. But I would say this is my favorite game. It's an action game. There's a lot of skill involved. It keeps your mind moving. It should even be played under a time clock versus allowing people to tank incessantly, because then really it's a brain sport at that point. And typically people that are playing that game want to have fun playing poker. You know, you can come into casinos around Europe. Yes, you're always going to find the fun guy sitting somewhere at the table, but it can be sometimes awfully quiet, awfully boring. And poker is meant to be a social game, such as what Party Poker is here doing at Aspers. It's making poker on a social level. This is accessible to everyone. It only took 1 penny to potentially come and play here at Aspers. Yesterday there was a new game, the Tennessee Hold'em, 25-pound buy-in. That's accessible to anyone. Anybody can learn that game. So a massive shout out to those that are focusing on recreational poker. Yes, professional poker is what the sport's all about. When you see poker on TV, yeah, those guys do need to take it seriously. You know, their livelihood's on the line. But if poker's your hobby, try to make some money, but most importantly, try to have fun is the key message to mixed games, at least in my heart. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm around for autographs later.
Jason, thank you so much. I know I learned a lot. I think this is really interesting. And as Jason said, he's around all day. So go talk to him. Thank you so much again, Jason.
Much love, Natalie, and thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Ours. All right, guys, we're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we're going to be speaking with the Hindu mob. So yeah, thank you.